Welcome back to the channel. This is David Paulides, and you are listening to the Missing 411 podcast. Thank you for being here. I've just returned from a major conference where I was the keynote speaker, and the place was packed. I spoke about our latest work, Missing 411, the UFO connection, and how it points to something undeniable, a frightening overlap between strange aerial objects and people simply vanishing. Many prefer the touchy-feely aspects of abductions, but I came with the facts. My movie highlighted that people claimed abduction while others claimed they were chased by UFOs, all in the same remote regions. How can that terrifying truth be ignored? This brings us back to the serious, heavy reality of what we do and the families that are left behind. We look at the facts because the truth is non-negotiable, no matter how profoundly uncomfortable it is. And the facts of the missing 411 cases, especially in the eastern United States, show a pattern that truly defies human explanation. For those who have read Missing 411, Eastern United States, you know the ledger I'm about to lay out. What happened in Pennsylvania between the late 1930 seconds and 1950 is, quite frankly, sickening. No other state has anything close to this concentration of young children who fit our specific profile points. It's a terrifying statistical anomaly. Listen to this timeline of relentless disappearances. In 1938, a 4-year-old female and a 3-year-old male vanish. 2 years later, in 1940, another 4-year-old male and a 2-year-old male disappear. 1,941 saw a 3-year-old female and 2 young males gone. Then, in 1942, a 3-year-old male and 8 children, 8 separate 4-year-olds, went missing. What was truly going on in Pennsylvania? Why is this state a known magnet for this level of unadulterated terror? The geography doesn't account for it. There's a strange, unnerving silence. A 4-year gap between 1,942 and 1,946. You have to ask yourself, what events took place globally that might have drawn the entity's attention elsewhere? This suggests an outside influence, whether a UFO disappearance or something darker, is deliberately at work. This case is the terrifying precursor. Jerome Koonin, just 2 years old, vanished on the 29th of April, 1937, from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Jerome was, with his grandparents, a depressingly familiar profile point in so many. Missing 411 files, the woods were right there, looming across the street from the house. At 5 p.m., his grandmother stepped inside for just a moment to grab his cap. She wasn't gone long, a minute at most. When she returned, the 2-year-old was gone. A child, waiting for a simple cap, simply vanishes in the time it takes an adult to cross a room. Something was watching. Something was waiting for that specific, fleeting moment of inattention. Around 5:10 p.m., a coal miner named Charles Jeffrey heard it. Coming from the thick hillside above the home, he heard a small voice crying out mournfully, "Daddy! Daddy!" Jeffrey ran up that mountain, searching for hours. He never found the source of the voice. Jerome was heard, yet, despite an army of searchers scouring that small hill, they found absolutely nothing. It's the phantom voice phenomenon. The victim is calling out from another space, another time trapped within a dimensional rift, or a time travel mystery where they can be heard, but not physically located. The timeline is too short. The search was too vast. Jerome Koonin was taken by an unseen, predatory entity, perhaps an alien abduction or a primal force that spirited the child away from a spot where his cries could still echo into our world. We now move south, just barely 10 miles across the state line into Virginia, 7 miles west of Lynchburg. The invisible state line means nothing to this force. This is the case of Martha Yurko, 4 years old, missing the 19th of March, 1965. another child staying with her grandparents. The conditions were severe. It was bitterly cold with 2 inches of fresh snow. Crucially, Martha had a birth defect that made it very difficult for her to walk. A classic missing 411 physical compromise. The search was massive, over 2,000 people. They searched every inch of that terrain. And then, 17 days later, Martha was found. The terror sets in with the details. She was found only 1/2 mile from the cabin, face down in a creek with barely 2 inches of water. That location had been meticulously searched, quote, dozens of times. How does an impaired 4-year-old who could barely walk bypass 2,000 searchers in a 1/2 mile radius? It's impossible. The official verdict, exposure and drowning, but the initial finding was inconclusive and the body showed no violence. They settled for an answer to calm the media. If Martha couldn't walk far and the area was cleared, it suggests her body was held somewhere else, perhaps within a dark parallel layer, like the phenomena seen at Skinwalker Ranch, and then simply placed back, deceased. It's what we call local reports for local consumption. They give the community a simple answer, drowning knowing the facts simply don't line up with the physical reality of the case. Jerome Coonan, 2 years old, vanishing into the Pennsylvania hills, his voice echoing from a void. Martha Yurko, 4 years old, appearing in a cleared creek, defying all physical limits. We have a consistent pattern in this specific corridor of the eastern seaboard. An unknown intelligence is operating here. This is why we continue to investigate the missing 411 cases. Because these are real kids, real families, and the official explanation is often a terrible lie. I want you to research the gap, research the history of this region, and ask yourself what kind of dark force or cryptid would target the most vulnerable among us, only to return the evidence in such a terrifying, impossible way. Keep an open mind, be nice to your neighbors, and look out for each other. You stay safe, God bless, and I'll be back soon.